I'm going to tackle the first three of these to get us started. You can see quite a long list of reasons. The first three sort of fit together. Thought leadership, I like to say your deepest insights are your best branding. And podcasting, it's just a fantastic branding tool. So whether it's you and your company trying to get out your own thought leadership, or you're inviting thought leaders in your industry onto your podcast, either way, um, I think you become a thought leader by doing either of those things. You are helping your audience, your marketplace, see those insights from the experts, and whether it's you directly or it's reflected back on you by your guests, there's value in that. And I think big this is a gap that many companies aren't taking advantage of, is to get their CEO on a podcast, whether it's your own or someone else's, and have them out there speaking and using clips from that to distribute on social media to get the word out. I mentioned educating the marketplace. It can be hard for anyone to keep up with all the things that are going on in a particular space. So, for example, Don and I are both in the life sciences. There are so many things going on. My second podcast, CC Life Science, covers all kinds of innovations in science in the space, purely based on my curiosity, but the intent is that there's an audience out there who just wants to know all the different things that are going on in the research and drug development space, for example. And when you do that and you're out there consistently, you build a certain level of trust and credibility, which goes to the third point. Um, and if you haven't experienced it, you'd be shocked. And I've experienced it on both ends, the know, like, and trust factor. So when I started out 10 years ago, 9 years ago with the podcast, I was listening to a lot of podcasts and I felt, I know these people that I'm hearing every week in my ear. On the other side, and if I met them, it's a little bit like meeting a celebrity, because you felt like them. They're in some form of media on a regular basis. And then I went to a trade show and I had someone who I'd never spoken to come up to me, who recognized me from Twitter, but who was a listener to my podcast, and said, "Hey, you do that thing, right?" Yeah. And then it has happened more than once. So there's a level of trust that people get because they get to hear you on a regular basis. And that builds a relationship, even if you haven't spoken to them before. And it makes getting those conversations started much easier.